Hi everyone, Angus Campbell here. It's Friday the 24th of April 2026. So off and on in the last few days since we took the Ariel 3 to a rally, I've been thinking about and investigating the issues which we think are fuel starvation, i.e. it runs great for a while and then it starts to bog down, and it goes for a bit more and starts to bog down, etc. And we know that on these that fuel supply is pretty critical, especially with respect to the long tortuous route that the fuel line goes from the tank to the back of the engine and underneath it to the carb. So I decided to tinker around a little bit. I suspected the banjo underneath the fuel tap because I don't recollect checking that. But anyway, we got stuck into it, and here's a few clips of the outcome. And yes, the mower is older than the Ariel 3, and that is an early prototype conical hub from a P30C Fury prototype, before you ask. Right, on with the Ariel. Found the problem with the Ariel 3. Just thought I'd check the flow from the tap, and that's with, a decent amount of fuel in the tank. If you can see it, it should be flowing faster than that. Let's poke something up there. Still not clever. Right, we're going to have to take that tap out, see what on earth's going on. Tank should be alright because it's been relined, but obviously the tap is not happy. Right, we're under the hood. You just have to basically turn these a quarter of a turn. They're like big plastic Zeus fasteners, one on each side and two on the top there. And then pull the hood back. It's got its own little stay, and then you get the fuel tankers here, which is just held in by 3 screws. So I've undone the fuel line at the bottom there. You can't quite see it, but it's hanging underneath there now with the banjo on it, so we can check the banjo too. But the fuel line is this thick black one here, which has to go through these retainers. So underneath the tank here, winds its way through these 2 retention clips and then down to the carb, which is sort of underneath the engine at the back. But you've got to make sure this top loop, or here after the 2 retention loops, that the pipe doesn't sort of bend up because it's too long before it goes down to the banjo, because if that bend is higher than the bottom of the fuel tank, obviously you can have big fuel flow problems anyway. So we sorted that out because the other one was. I'll show you it because I've still got it. You can see what happens. It bent round from the tank, and when it was in situ, it sort of went. Oh, where are we? Yeah, it went from the tank and it went up in a loop like so before going round to the carb, and that's no good. Right, let's get these 3 screws off, and then we can pour out the petrol oil mixture that's in it, and we can have a good look at this tap. I'm sure I did this when I lined the tank, but anyway, don't worry about the colour in the tank. You can see it's red because I'm using red 2-stroke oil, so don't worry, the tank's not going bad, he says, hopefully. Well, I've undone the tank screws. Before I did any of that, I was just getting all the bits and pieces together so I don't lose anything. And this is the dome nut on the bottom of the fuel tap banjo. And look at the rubbish in there. piles of it. I've obviously not flushed the tap out or anything when I last did the tank, so this is going to be, well, it is the problem anyway, because we're not getting a flow out the tap. Right, let's get the tap out. Right, I've emptied quite a lot of the tank and managed to save the fuel in my little mixing bottle. There is some fuel still in the tank, but there's not too much, so we can just lean it on its side, get this tap off, and then we've got enough in there to do a bit of a test. Once we've got this tap off, you can see the tap's seen better days, but the tap does work well, and it's its original tap. So let's take this off, just a quick undo with, what is it, 5/8 or 9/16, and we'll have a look at it, and hopefully it tells a story. I'm just thinking, what? Well, how did I miss that when I did the tank? No gauze filter and absolutely clogged. Right, well, I think I know a man that's got gauze filters, but also I think might have replacement new old stock taps. But anyway, let's clean it out first. Just to see how embarrassed I can get. That's what I've got out the tap so far. Look at it, piles of it. There's all sorts of bits and pieces there, not just rust. Little bits of chrome and plate, because it's corroded. See the end of the plunger there. More importantly, in there, now it's drying off, you can see it's corroded. Now you won't be able to see through because in here the holes are staggered, so the centre of that isn't the centre of that. But I poked it all through and cleaned it through. So it will work again. Got the banjo off the fuel line, and the banjo is actually clear. Totally clean. So is the tap. So we'll see what a Mr. Lewis can come up with, because I believe he's got taps and separate gauze filters. I think we probably could do with a tap, really. Right, let's give him a ping. Well, I've got a second-hand Hewitt fuel tap as per this original on order, and it's on its way. I've also got a new pattern coming from India. I don't know what that's going to turn out like, but it's supposed to be the same. But I had a route through my stash of spares, and look what I found, with its gauze filter protected by this cylinder cardboard. An absolutely brand new original. And I've also managed to order a couple of new gauze filters, 3/8, which I should be able to solder onto here when I clean it up, so we can recommission the old one too. Right, we'll get fitting this and we might be in business. It even came with, as you can see, that new fibre washer of the correct size. Tally ho. Right, she's all back together. I put the new tap in the petrol tank and refitted the tank, which just sits under this end of the rear sort of bonnet. There's the tap in place with its washers and everything, and it's been on now for 24 hours and not one drip, and it's not even wet. Hurrah. So you know what that means at the next opportunity: a test run. Well, before I do the road test, which will be later on today, I just thought, now I seem to have more taps than I know what to do with. I just thought I'd try and resurrect the original tap by putting a new gauze filter on it. As you can see, a well-used but complete original tap did arrive, and actually it's okay. It's seen better days, that one, so we might replace that gauze filter. But also, this is the one from India, which looks like the correct fitting, with a filter on it that's been supported, and see it's got a spring inside as well, so that's quite good. Whether that works or not, I'm not sure, but we'll just leave that in stock. But I've still also, that's not my original tap. That's one that I got off eBay. The original one is over here, and as you can see, I've cleaned it up, and I'm going to try and solder in a new gauze filter. But you can see there's the remnants of the base of the old one here. So we'll give it a blast with a blowtorch, see if we can get that out, and then we'll get the baker's fluid out. Although the solder I've got actually is fluxed solder, it's cord, and we'll try and put a new one in, but it won't be worthwhile until I get the remnants out, so this can actually sit into that cavity. Anyway, let's blast it and see what happens. Well, I was just giving it a quick blast, and the remnants are going to come out, but I just thought, hang on a minute, I'm being bloody stupid here. So I've taken out the plunger, because I don't want to damage its cork, because it does seal well. So right, that's that out of the way. Now let's give it a blast. Well, that's one destroyed. Blowtorch, even though I had it set really low, it just blew through it just here. You can't see it very well there, but there you go, there's a hole there. It did tin quite well though, because it's brass, I think. So I did get some solder in there and tin it, and then I've put this next gauze in, and she's firm now, so I'm going to go around here with just with a soldering iron, and we'll fill up that space with solder, and we should be all good. Right, there we go. So the trick was to use the old soldering iron just to get, you know, a nice rim of solder in place, if you like, and then to use the blowtorch really low and just heat up the boss and let the solder melt and sink in, and I think we've got it. A little bit blobby here and there, but generally not too bad, and I think we've got a bit of a blob there. I can probably just iron that out with a soldering iron. Just smooth it out, make sure I haven't got any solder on the threads. That's good. But can you hear her ticking over there she is, ticking over in the background there. Got to go in after a bit of a push. It takes quite a long while to get going when the fuel system is initially empty and you're trying to prime it again. But now she's primed, she should be all right. I'm just leaving her ticking over there to warm up, and I'll go up and down the drive a few times this time, and we'll leave it at that for now. And then I've got one or two ideas for test runs to places not too far away that I can pedal from if I need to. Tell you what, I only need one hand. Smoking away nicely. Right, handbrake off. Get the reverse. does sometimes bog a bit after you've gone tick over. Okie dokie. First test good. Shutter off. Handbrake on. Fuel. Where are we? Off. I should have twisted the tap actually. Was it a turn? Turn it clockwise slightly to lock. Can't remember which way around it is now. Anyway. Okay. Right, that'll do for now, gang. Thanks for watching. Thanks for all your interest in this crazy gang channel. And see you all again soon. Cheers.